That's the thing, I don't really know because I feel like me personally, with the life that I've had and the way that I was raised, I've not gotten to experience enough
Yeah,
to
you're
be
not
able
there
to
yet.
form my own opinion on what life
Very
is.
nice.
I have to get a job or something, but I'm
Yeah.
not a working man.
Yeah.
No, I've always been about taking the risk.
Yeah.
It's just part of life. I mean, if you don't take a risk, you
It's
ain't really had no good stories to tell.
That's true.
I was probably 4 years old, and my uncle wanted to get his granddaughter a pony. We had to keep it at our house because we had the barn and the pasture and all the room for it, and he just didn't at the time. About a year and a half goes by, and he calls my dad and says, "Hey, I'm coming to get the pony." And my dad got tired of driving me over there every weekend to see it, so he decided it would be a good idea to buy me a horse. And now he really regrets that decision because I
Yeah.
have 5 of them.
Fine. Wow.
And I started riding when I was 6. That's when I got my first horse, a little paint mare. Her name was Rainy. And just kind of ever since, that's been what I wanted to do. I've tried other things and it just wasn't I've for got one of me. Those. My
Yeah.
youngest, my colt, he's a pretty big guy, a little arrogant. I don't think he realizes how big he is. And he tries some stuff with me because I am pretty small. But for the most part, horses are a lot like dogs. They'll kind of pick their person and
Bond.
they'll take care of that person.
Yeah.
My horses tend to get injured a lot because they think that I have money that just falls out of the
Yeah.
sky to pay for their vet bills. Um, so my mare especially, she's my really good rodeo horse. She's a lot of work for me. She's very high maintenance. Um, she was the most expensive out of my critters, that's for sure, and I think that plays a part into it. You're getting what you pay for sure. Um, but they're a lot of work. It's hard and it takes a lot of time. And even when I'm sick, puking my guts out, laying in bed, can't move, my horses are still outside. I still got to go feed them and
Take care of them.
clean their stalls and get them dealt with to keep them comfortable. It's typically quarter horses. But I've seen people use all kinds of horses, Arabians,
Mhm.
paints, which paint horses still technically are quarter horses. They're just, it's more their coloration that their registration and stuff goes off of. But um, there's a lot of thoroughbreds in it too now. They'll get off the track thoroughbreds that just weren't quite fast enough. And I've seen a lot of people start running those here recently.
Yeah.
But they have laser timers. They line them up
Yeah.
on either corner, well, either edge really of the arena. And once you cross through that eye, it turns it off and
Yeah.
on based off of when the horse's legs hit it.
What about so I see it looks like they're really particular about where the barrels are.
Yeah.
And is there a
Um,
laser telling them that, or how's that work?
it depends. So, like, if you go to the expo center in Murray that our rodeo team uses there, we do have lasers that they hang in the ceiling that let you know where the
Right
barrels are
where the
supposed to
barrels
be
are.
at. But like with the IPRA rodeos, which is International Pro Rodeo Association, that's what him and I have been running a lot of. They usually just have stakes
Hmm.
out in the ground that'll tell them where the barrels go, which that's one of those things you have to measure from the fence line in so much because your barrels have to be so far apart from each other, so far apart from the back fence
Right.
on
And
the
then
back
it tells me
edge where the
too.
alleyway is. So the people that really take it seriously, unfortunately, that has not been me here recently. I've just had a lot going on, so it's kind of slipped a little bit. Most people we do ride our horses 7 days a week.
Yeah.
There for a while, I was riding Monday through Friday. I was riding. I'd go ride Friday night. I'd go run. Saturday night, I'd run. Sunday, I'd give my horses off.
So that tight turn that you see them guys go into, is that where you see injury a lot? Because I don't know. I mean, I know the horse is super strong and actually probably stronger than Landon's leg. So,
Yeah, yeah, a lot stronger than Landon's leg, that's for sure.
but that turn, man, they dig in pretty hard. And
Yeah, a lot of the time, the worst injuries you'll see is on the front side of the barrel coming into your turn
yeah,
or on the back side coming out of it. You don't really see many injuries coming from like the actual turn itself on the back side of the barrel. Um, because it's typically when they're shifting their weight to set up for that next barrel that they have ahead of them
right,
that they'll a foot will catch or
yeah, or
slip
slip.
and they'll get hurt and tear something. But
And now, one question I want to jump over to Landon. So, is it the turf? Like when the ground, I see they till that quite often back and
mhm.
forth. I guess you don't want it to get compacted, right? You don't want that's where they'll have a lot of problems.
It's mostly
Scraping.
the ruts more than
Oh,
anything.
damn.
So, we're all running the same pattern. We're all running the
Right.
same 3 circles no matter what direction we start in, right or left, and over time, after so many girls running, you just get these really deep ruts that horses will get their feet caught in, and you will have girls that their horse just can't handle that deep of dirt, and they will go down. Their horses will go down with them, and it can cause a lot of really serious injury both to the horse and to the rider.
Yeah.
So,
This is going to be, you're not going to believe this question, but to me, I'm kind of a car guy. I've done a lot of different things, but I like to go fast. And when I see that barrel racing, I'm like, do guys get into that, or is that just an off limit thing?
oh no,
Because it looks like
there's
fun to just hammer
yeah.
down, but I know but you got to ride the bull because I get it. The bull riders would be making fun of you, right? Right,
For
Lance?
sure.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure. Yeah, they're like I guess that would be like a male cheerleader, right? In the
Yes.
basketball, the
Yes,
basketball guy.
exactly. That's
You'll have
exactly what it's
your,
like.
your guys, your bull riders,
Yeah.
making fun of most time if we see
Yeah.
a male barrel racer.
But they do guys do it,
Rarely,
right?
but yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, let's just, so Landon, talking about that, the guys that go out and save your ass, those dudes on the horses, and then you got, I guess, the particular clowns. Do they still call them clowns, or is it?
They're clowns. We call them cowboy protection.
Mhm.
The men on the horses are pickup men. Those are more for like your bareback bronc riders or your saddle bronc riders.
Yeah.
During the bull riding, you have your cowboy protection, or your clown, as most people call it.
So okay, yeah. So I do remember those guys are the guys that help pull the guys off of the horses, right?
Yes, sir.
They don't have to worry about that with you guys on them. Yeah, the bull take care of that,
Yeah.
right?
Most of the time.
Yeah, I do. Don't they though? They're out there kind of wrangling the bulls afterward,
So
getting them back
if the
in.
bull's kind of being a butthead and won't go, back behind the bucking chutes, they will rope them and pull them back to
Yeah.
save a little bit of showtime.
Yeah. All right. So where were we? We were talking to Landon finally about the guys that actually. What did you call those guys on the horses?
Pickup men.
Pickup men. I want to learn all this stuff, and I'm gonna be so much more smarter about this than my wife. So I should. Pickup men. Those dudes seem pretty like. I guess they were probably guys that's been around for a while.
Yes, sir.
Kind of know what's up.
Most of them.
Yeah, and I guess they kind of know how animals are going to react, and
It's more of just how they work with their horses. Like you said, they do know how the horses work and how they will run, but most of the time they just run up beside them, and then your bareback rider, or your saddle bronc rider will grab the pickup man and hop
gotcha.
off.
Yeah. On that though, so does any of the bull riders cross train, like go over to the
Bareback.
Yeah.
Very few.
Yeah.
There are a
Just don't have the
handful,
time
but
for
you don't see it very often.
Yeah, the bull riders like the star of the show. You
We
can
like
say,
to
you can
think
say,
we
you
like
can
to
say
think
so.
we are.
Well, they put you at the end,
I
and
was gonna say they save the best for last.
yeah, and man, we were talking about that earlier. Sometimes these rodeos, man, they go on for a long. What is the standard rodeo hour wise?
With an IPRA rodeo, it's usually 2 to 3 hours. That's basic time. We try to, anyways.
Seems like at least 3 most
Yeah.
of the time. So when you guys are just hanging out waiting, does it get tiring? Do you watch the show? Do you take a nap?
Sometimes I
All
will
of the
take a
above,
nap.
yeah.
I like to just really just bicker with other people and pass the time.
Yeah.
That's really the best part about rodeo, is meeting new people and meeting family. Really, everyone
Yeah.
out there is family.
Yeah, you see some people get hurt pretty bad, and it seems like it's a community backing them. Everyone takes it serious, and it's I come out of a different kind of sport, but definitely lots of injury in the sport I was in. But the injury level, I guess, the actual what could I was watching a video of you, and Tristan, why don't you go ahead and get that ready to pull up? I was watching a video of you, and I did a compilation of some that we can take a look at here. And one of them, when you come out of the chute, right? Hey, look at me, look at me. Right?
Learning already.
All right, I'll be teaching you before long. When you come out of the chute, I see you go down. In this particular one, you had the helmet on, and it looked like the bull's horn hit right there. And then you rode, and then when you went off that one, it was like this far away from your face, stepping on you,
Yeah.
So those kind of injuries. And then I'm like, Sometimes you're wearing your cowboy hat. Sometimes you're wearing a thing.
Yeah, I'm bipolar with it. I'll wear a helmet and then I'll get jerked down and I'll break my nose or something, and
Yeah.
then my confidence goes down. So I'm like, let's put a helmet on.
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe some had regulations that you had to and you didn't.
The PBR, professional bull riding, they what is it? After if you're born after '94, you have to wear a helmet. But PRCA, your Pro Rodeo Cowboy Association, um, you don't have to be.
Yeah,
You don't have to be a certain age. You can just wear a helmet or hat, whatever
Yeah.
you prefer.
I could see a benefit to it if you were injured, and riding while injured. That's probably a big help.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's one of those things where you probably get a lot of flack, back and from different people, especially the older crew. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Your older guys,
Back in the day, we
But
didn't wear helmets.
sure, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that's what you talk about when you see guys, fighters that don't wear a mouthpiece or something and they got no teeth. I was like, well, yeah, okay. Also, have you heard of cauliflower ear?
Yes.
Yeah, so most fighters get cauliflower, and it's completely preventable. When you get hit or you get, you're in different locks and things, your ear will get basically infected, and those dudes won't do anything about it. So that builds up this massive scar tissue over and over, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And my wife said, if you ever get that, I'll never, it's over. But they'll just let that, and it's like a sign of whatever toughness, I guess. It's like back when we used to get our belts. When you got your black belt, after you wore it so long, it would get wore out and tattered and everything. So I could see the older guys giving you a hard time about
All
that.
the time.
Yeah,
All the time.
yeah. So have you ever been around? I know you just recently had a broken leg.
Yes.
So that was from a pretty hard fall, or did you get kicked? Or
I'm not really too sure what happened. I was on a bull 779 of Dennis Morrison's in Ashland City, Tennessee, and he lied to me and told me he was going to be right around, spinning to the right. The bull kind of just came out and was a little bit of left and right and left and right, and I rode him. And I guess when I stepped off, I just hit at a weird angle and
yeah,
broke my ankle and my fibula.
yeah, that's a hard hit to break your fibula.
Yeah, the ground out there was terrible. They wouldn't even let the barrel racers run because the first girl that ran around their barrel, her horse slipped and fell.
Yeah.
So it was just dangerous for everyone out there, really.
Yeah, I think those, my experience with promoters, and they'll do anything to get a match going. And they used to be really big into getting back before MMA was so big. They would really into getting female fights because it was a big draw. And they would throw these. I had a fighter that went in, and I was actually fighting at this place, and then they tried to talk her into fighting this girl. And anyways, we finally let it happen. This was her first fight, and it ended up kicking her pretty. It was bad. I mean, I could tell right away that the girl they put her with was very, very experienced. Kind of saying like that's what I wanted to get to with what you were saying about that bull, where he's telling you about it. But anyhow, she got in there, and I knew right away, and it ended badly. But she kept getting up. They finally stopped the fight. The next day, we found out the girl they put her with, and when I say girl, woman, was fighting for her professional boxing debut the weekend after.
Oh, Lord.
And that's my experience with promoters. They will do anything to get a show, and they'll put mismatches, and I used to put on shows too. I had mismatches, but I really tried to make sure these
tried
guys.
to match it up as good as you could.
So when you said that bull left, right, who was telling you that, and how did that's something I've never heard.
His name's Dennis Morrison. He's a stock contractor. A stock contractor is usually the person who brings the bucking horses, or the rough stock, I should say, the bucking horses or bulls.
Okay, and then you guys get to talk to them, and they.
Yes, sir. After a little while of riding, you'll get to figure out who those people are, and just really get to meet them. And most of the time, they do tell you the truth about the bulls. The bull has a mind of their own, though, so they're not going to do the same thing every time.
So these stock contractors, are they wanting a bull? Are they wanting their bull to beat you? I mean, this is interesting.
Yes and no. Most of your contractors probably want to see you ride a bull, but at the same time, they want to see you buck off of their bull. Their bulls are their babies. They've raised them from bull calves, and they've taught them everything they know.
Yeah, it's like training a fighter. And do they get different amounts? No, here's something I hear a lot of that when a bullfighter or a bull rider goes out, they want to ride a particular bull because it'll make a bigger show. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of we have our favorites.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorites of Dennis Morrison's is this 777. It's a black bull. He's just cool. Just right there in the gate, round to the left.
So you want a bull that's going to give you a ride, right? You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you don't want one that's just going to kind of walk around and
Yeah.
come back. Yeah.
Yeah, me personally, I want the best one in the pen.
Yeah. Because you're going to get a better score.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you're going to prove a little bit of something there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm the baddest mofo that came in. You know.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, I get it. Is it random though? Is it like a draw?
Yes. Usually, like at your open rodeos, they'll draw from hats. You know, draw a name, draw a bull.
So I see some of the like big superstar guys though. Do they get like a choice on who they ride or?
I'm gonna say no, but yes.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I don't want to get you in trouble or anything.
Yeah.
You just say no comment if you don't want to.
Well, I mean, everyone knows it.
Yeah.
You got your favorite bull riders too. You go slide and ride rodeo. I mean, I can go there, and
Yeah.
most of the time they'll let me pick my bull because I am one of them who can put a show on and can actually ride a bull out there, where most of them are 2 or 3 seconds and they fall
Yeah.
off, or maybe not even that.
That's what I noticed about the clips you put on. Now, Sarah probably tell me, hey, there's a bunch of other ones he didn't put on. But no, I did see, you hung in there. And most of the time when I go to these shows, these dudes, a lot of these younger guys, they are like, just as soon as the gate opens, they're done. And I mean, hell, I'm not judging that by no means. I'm just saying it's got to be super tough to be able to hang in there and stay on that bull. Tristan, can you pull that? Let's take a look at that real quick. So I put this together. It's got audio to music to it.
Heck yeah.
It's a Barbie girl, but no, you can't hear the music. You will be able to on the show though there. But this is you, right?
Yes.
I was really worried. I was like,
Maryland.
there's like several different ones, and I wanted to make sure.
That was at the Slide and Ride Rodeo in Jackson,
Yeah, see
Tennessee.
that dude is getting with it.
That was one of
That
Blake
is-
Sharp's bulls.
Yeah. And then you have one here that just really and I like it when they clear all 4 feet. Is that a thing? Is that something somebody talks about, or is that just me?
Sometimes, I mean,
Yeah.
you get a lot of airtime.
Yeah. And some of them were really getting up there.
That was the first time I ever took my helmet off.
Yeah. That's gotta be intimidating, dude. I get it. I wish I can't remember.
Fish fry.
He kind of looks like he's kind of wearing him down a little bit. He's like,
Yeah,
did
that
they wear
bull-
down or?
They can weaken up after.
Yeah,
a
that one.
few
Go back
seconds
to. I
on
want
it.
to see that again because that one you just kind of get off and like walk away.
That guy in the bullfighter right there is actually my buddy that lives.
Oh,
close
right
to
down
me.
the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was showing my youngest son this one. I said, "Yeah, he just got tired and decided to walk off." Yeah, so that's cool. I was in a sport that was individual, like you. You're an individual. I mean, you may have like a group of guys that go, but for me, in the same way, we had a group of people. But at the end of the day, if you get in the cage and you lose,
It's your fault.
And I was like, man, why didn't I play football? You know what I mean?
Blame it on someone
Yeah,
else.
because I started teaching real early, way too early, and then so I never had been afraid of a man per se to fight. I mean, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I said, whatever. But I always hated for like people that I went with to see me lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they have a certain perspective, and
Yeah.
they want to see you do the best you can do. I hate when people like on the commentating.
Yeah.
And they'll be sitting there. Well, this guy's won the 2021 high school, state finals.
Yeah.
He's done this. He's done that.
Build
and
me up.
Yeah, and then I might fall off, and it's like, oh, they were expecting a show, and I
Yeah.
just let everyone in this arena down.
That's yeah. And is that a single elimination? Like when you get out there, boom, you drive 200, 300 miles, you're out all night, you all this investment money, you show up, they build you up as this big guy, and you come out to shooting for whatever reason, anything can happen. 2 seconds, all that for 2 seconds. Do you get another chance that night? Usually?
Certain deals you will. You get, they call it a 2-header. You get on 2 bulls, but most rodeos it's just one, and you're done.
Yeah, that's hard. We used to teach karate. We take these kids to a sport karate, like point contact, and it's 5 points, 2 kicks, and 1 punch, and they're done. And we travel. It's like these parents are like, "What did I just pay for?" Yeah, that double elimination makes things a little easier. Even if you're going, With the double elimination there, you'd have like, your two winners would fight for first and second, and the guys runners up would be third and fourth. But at least you get another run at it. So, is there a trick?
There is a little bit, but a lot of people ask me, can you help me ride bulls? I don't know how to explain it. I've just came to it naturally.
Yeah.
I've kind of listened to what people have told me. They say meet the front end and shove your hips to your rope when you kick. If you can meet the front end and the kick, you can ride a bull.
Yeah.
And when I say meet the front end, how would you explain that?
Why are you
I
asking
don't
me? I
know.
ride
You
horses,
watch it
not
more,
bulls.
so
Yeah.
I don't see it personally. I just feel it. Meeting the front is quote unquote getting off your ass. Getting
Okay.
a little pocket in between.
Yeah,
It gives you a little bit of wiggle room for air.
Kind of a shock absorber, probably a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see being super just like tight to it. The bull's going to be able to move you. Whereas if there's a pocket and he goes up, it's the amount of time. So he's not going to get that launch, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it. And
As I was saying, I can't really explain it. I don't know how, but I can definitely show you.
Yeah. So I think that's some of the best are people that are natural at it, that you don't. And it, like with martial arts, it's your training to be that. You have your conscious mind, and that's what you got to get out of the way of. You want to be able to react and just let your body go. And that's in a situation like in a cage, same thing. You are moving extremely fast. You don't have time to calculate and think.
You gotta react.
You got to let it go. And those people, I'm sure, with you. I would say there's probably people who start bullfighting don't have a lot of, if they get in a situation, they know right away, this is for me or not.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not a like, well, I'll give it one more try, get my nose reset and I'll do it, Yeah, so most of the guys out there that do it are a certain breed.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're not right in the head.
Yeah.
There's something. There's a screw loose for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a bunch. So rodeo, how do you feel about the popularity of it right now? I'm gonna ask both of you that.
I think it's slowly dying.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, this new generation of kids, they need to eat a bag of concrete and harden up.
Yeah.
Everyone's softies now. And
Yeah.
I can't even say that because people in my generation or my age group, I should say, they're soft too.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think a lot of it is more the way that people view it than anything else. I've seen a lot of places. I'll go to rodeos sometimes and they'll have to explain to people like, "Hey, we're not tying this flank strap around this bull's nuts. Like
Yeah.
it's still around their flank. We're not hurting them." And I've even had people come up to me at rodeos and tell me that I'm abusing my horses by making them run in that small circles. And I'm like, this is what my horses were bred to do.
Yeah.
And those bulls, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for all the animals that are involved in it. That's what they're bred for. And people just don't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that part of it, the being people giving back flat because of animal cruelty. But I would probably wager that these animals are the best treated, the best life possible.
For sure.
Better than some dogs.
Yeah.
I would definitely argue that
And
point.
I was talking about this earlier. I think I can't remember if it was Tristan or one of my others. It looks like they enjoy it. I mean, it looks like
They
let's
do
go.
it naturally
It's
too.
like,
Some of them you don't even have to tie a flank on the bulls or anything.
yeah, it looks, especially like in the barrel racing, it looks like those horses are like, let's go.
Oh yeah, and there's even videos of some big time barrel racers out there that they come off their horse in the alleyway. Their horse will go run the pattern by themselves without the rider.
Yeah,
It's what they're bred to do. It's what they're trained to do, and they love it. They get just as excited about it as we do.
Yeah. Well, the whole arena of animals there are an amazing specimen of animals. I grew up on a cattle farm for most of my youth, and we used to have monster bulls. Of course, none of them. I didn't ride any of them, but we had one bull. We called him Bob. He was a 4-H bull, and we got him from there. And then he bred. And that bull, you could feed him. He was a monster. Maybe I was a young kid and everything was bigger back then, but I remember this thing was a monster. I remember my dad sending me down with a bucket of corn and I couldn't find the bull. And he's like, go on. And I turn around, I'm like, where's he at? And next thing I know, he nudges me and I fall down the corn falls and I see this big head go, I'm like, holy shit. But that bull, so we would tag the ears. I'm sure. Did you grow up on cattle farm or?
No, sir.
Yeah.
My grandpa, he raised standard bred horses as well as
Okay.
hers. I don't have a thing to do with horses. I hate them.
But cattle.
No
Yeah.
cattle at
But
all.
you know what I'm talking about, tagging ears.
Oh yeah, I've been
You know,
around it.
yeah.
My buddy Riley Jones, he's been farming his whole life.
Yeah.
So
So we would, and my job was the gate. They'd run
Oh,
these
yeah.
things just to see if you can find a cattle being tagged and being caught in the gate. I know a lot of people might not understand this, and this is what this podcast is about. People, you got a guy that's working in graphic design, and he might watch this because he just wants to know all.
just to
And
get a little more educated on it.
sure. And like I had a lady come in who done. We do big, huge poker games. This area around here, you wouldn't believe it. If you get a chance, check it out. It's one of my first, so they got videos and so great. But she tells about a three-day game going, and the games around here are so huge. People think that, it's just a bunch of old guys sitting around playing poker. No, there's like $20, $30, $40, $50,000 cash in a room somewhere right now. Right now, I could take you to any place in Paducah, and we could sit down, and any given hand would be $2,000.
You need to pick that up while you're crippled.
Yeah, it's
Start supplying a little bit.
it's a hard
for me.
living though. I did it for a year and a half or so, and it's a grind. It's a whole nother. But yeah, you should check that out it's pretty cool. But where were cattle farm? Yeah, so I was in charge of the gate thing, and I'd always screw it up and get yelled at and get halfway. They get them right in the middle. I catch them halfway. But those cows would be coming through there, and that bull would smell that blood. I don't know if this is true or not, but that's what they told me, that because he would get so, like you said, ornery. He is so mad. He would smell that blood and just go nuts. But he was normally just a cool dude, The other thing is he didn't like nobody messing with his ladies.
Yeah, very protective.
Yeah,
They do tend to be that way.
so they're tagging some ears there, but they're not showing the gate. That's just basically so they can keep who's who, and all that kind of thing.
It's just like an ID tag.
Yeah. And then they don't even notice it. It seems like, but so I can remember one time this bull, we had him out in pasture, and there was another bull from another farmer, other side, and these two guys ended up not agreeing about something. We went out there the next day, and there was like 300 foot of fence gone, posts that big, just shattered and busted. These two bulls just got after it, man, and just destroyed. Massive amount of muscle there, and that's what you guys are dealing with.
Yeah.
Do you still are you and you can tell me the truth. We'll edit it out. Tristan, don't edit it. But do you have? I know you got to tell me that when you first started, you were a little intimidated by these monsters.
I still get intimidated. I'm not really intimidated. It's just more of fight my head a bunch.
Yeah.
I have not a lot of negative thoughts. It's just more like what ifs.
Yeah.
Well, if this happens, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like I never thought about my leg breaking.
Dude, I know.
So
we did that. We dealt with that a lot in fighting.
Yeah. But
especially when you're in the amateurs, you're not making a whole lot of money. You got to go out and make a living.
Oh yeah, we're running the amateur circuit right now with these IPRAs. Well, she is. I'm not running anymore. But
right, you ain't running nothing but the couch and the fishing pole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I told the story at one of our pod fight shows. My brother, he's a shorter dude, and he was at a fight, and I was in the corner, and this dude was wearing him out, had reach on him, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, get him down. So he finally scoops him up, puts him on the ground to get him over to me. So he brings him over to the cage, and I'm looking at him right here, closer than me and you. And he's got this guy down, and he's trying to mount up. He didn't realize that he had triangled this dude's leg. He had his legs wrapped around that guy's legs, and when he lifted up, you heard this nasty pow, and it broke his leg. Not my brother, the dude underneath him. And my brother just looks up and he goes, I think I broke him, And he gets up, and this guy's leg is an S. I mean, it's so nasty. And I'm like, it took 45 minutes to get him out. He went into shock. But then I'm like, this guy's got a wife and kids and a job, and now
Yeah.
what's he gonna do? And I was always on your mind. Those type of injuries can put you down, and if you don't have a good support team or support, from like family and friends that
Oh,
are
for
there for
sure.
you. Everybody, I thought about this when you were coming in. Everybody loves a champion until they get hurt or broken. And then they're like, I told you, you should have
Yeah.
never. Do you get that a lot?
With my grandparents and my mom, it's like they're my best friends when I'm making money.
Yeah.
And then as soon as something goes downhill or wrong, they're like, I
There it
told
is.
you, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's
Dang,
pretty.
y'all got me.
Yeah, it's pretty typical. And that's even with business. You guys kind of seen some of the stuff that I do here, and constantly people are, why don't you just get a regular job? Why do you do that?
A dream.
Yeah, exactly. There's something bigger out there.
Yeah.
There's people are different. There's some people, they just want to work, for 40 years
Yeah.
and, buy a bass boat and then retire, at some point. I just think there's got to be more to it than that. I want to leave a little stamp on the world saying,
Yeah.
and right now, it could be a stamp of this dude really ultimately failed. But I haven't yet. I haven't yet.
Or it
I
could
haven't
be
yet.
this dude
Yeah.
really succeeded.
Yeah, you gotta have that gamble in you.
Yeah,
You gotta be
I-
able to try
I
it.
think that's where my grandparents and my mom lack stuff like that. My grandpa, I mean, he's worked his whole life. So it kills him seeing me not have a job because I don't work. I ride bulls for or try to.
Yeah.
Now my mom, she'll give me a little hell. Well, you need to get a job.
Yeah.
Okay, I put it in her perspective of, okay, well, how much money have you made this year?
Ooh.
When
Yeah.
I've made a little more than her, and I'm all right. It's a job.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say sometimes. And I hate to be like that towards my mother,
Yeah.
but sometimes you got to have a humbling experience. And
Sure. My wife deals with that a lot. She streams video
yeah,
games, and then nobody really understands it. They're like, "So what? And what?"
yeah,
And I work more than full time. I work a lot of hours, and now I'm doing this. So anytime somebody needs something, well, you don't work, you can do it. Well, no, she's got a job. She's got to be consistent.
yeah,
That's how she makes her money. And that was a tough one for me. I thought, yeah, you stream, whatever, And then the first time somebody said, "Oh, you got beautiful eyes," I'm like, "Wait a minute."
yeah,
I went through a really tough week and a half there. I'm trying to get through it, but because you can't, back in my generation, somebody like that, Walker, when somebody said that to me, and in my generation, yeah, let's go. But now I don't even know where the hell this guy is.
yeah.
He's like
Everyone,
across the world. I don't even know.
And or
Yeah,
something
his
in a
name is
field.
like Riker 525. I don't know who the hell that is. So
you just
tough.
gotta ignore all of it.
Yeah, but let's get into that. Now we're not talking about relationships here, but let's just say you had a relationship with someone, and now you're a bull rider. Now I watched Urban Cowboy with John Travolta. You ever see it?
I've watched it. Yeah,
Yeah. A lot of jealousy going on there
A lot.
because the bull riders are the show, and there's a certain part of that you got to have. You
Yeah.
got to have that ability to be that. You got to have swagger. You're
little
good.
bit,
You're a
yeah.
good-looking guy. We talked about your dad.
hmm
We're not going to say pretty boy of high school, but he was a good-looking guy. But you got to have that swagger about you. You got a little bit of confidence, and you can't just shut everybody. Now I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm saying this like with my wife when she's streaming. It's hard, but she can't just shut everybody down. Oh, you look nice today. Well, you can't just say screw you, you're gone.
Thank you.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be good for business.
Yeah.
But there is a line you have to draw. But you have to kind of put that swagger out there. You're looking for fans,
Mhm.
right? You're not
Yes,
just
sir.
looking to get this bull and get the money for that show. You're trying to build something for the future. So you need to have people so that when there's a rodeo, they're going to be, this is the guy I want because he's going to bring people, put asses in the seat, right?
Like JB Mooney or Tristan Parker. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Tristan Parker's a young cowboy. He rides PRCA, and he's your pretty boy, as you'd call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he lives off of his name more than he does his bull riding.
Right.
Both of them, I really say, both of them probably have, and I'm not talking them down at all. Both of them are really good, but
Hey,
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you're there to make some money, right?
hmm
So, you get a lot of that, like advances from the ladies and maybe even the dudes. I don't know. I mean, is that a part of it? You kind of have to keep that as.
Yeah.
I'm
Keep
not
yourself.
trying to get a fight going on
No.
here.
Just
Or maybe I am. I don't
just
know.
Literally
really-
just the other
just
day.
really-
So.
We could definitely make some good shorts out of this and get, you know. Yeah. So
really, it's just keeping yourself level-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the females do come along, but that's where you gotta push them away. And
yeah.
here lately, I've been pretty good about pushing them away,
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
but I also have someone looking at me with a
Yeah.
hawkeye vision all the time too, which I think is good for me. I think it's mentally
you on
made me
point.
stronger.
Well, I mean, you got to think of it this way too, I guess. And again, this is just my perspective. You know, that's what kills a lot of young fighters, man. I would especially like adult, like when they're like 16, 17, these dudes would train. They'd be like, you got all the stuff you need to be a champion. And they get 16, 17, get a car, next thing a girl, and I wouldn't see them until they were like 24. You know,
Done had a kid.
then they'd come back, and then they missed their shot.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Same
so
stuff with bull riders.
You got to have somebody to keep you on point. It's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to get astray. Now the same thing goes. I have can't think of any time I didn't see a very pretty barrel racer. So it's quid pro quo. You got the same thing on the other end. I'm sure there's people that are giving that advance too. And so I would say it would be frustrating being young and in a situation like that where it's a lot of men and probably a lot of older men. Do you get that issue?
It is typically the older men that I get a lot of my nagging from.
Yeah, and then I get brought in.
Yeah.
Anymore, I hand him my phone and I'm like, will you deal with this? It's scraping me the hell out.
My wife does the same thing. It gets to a point where she can't get rid of somebody,
Yeah.
And she needs that voice. Yeah. Same thing over there. You have a lot of dudes on you, Walker. Oh, you're the muscle. You're the muscle to keep them in
security
line.
guard.
All right.
He's
Yeah.
helped us out a lot
Good.
in various ways.
Yeah,
for sure.
You gotta have somebody on your back, man. It's always good. And to have somebody you can trust and loyal, and that's hard to find in this world. I've been let down a lot of times in my life. People that's supposed to have my back and threw me under the bus. So let's get how many shows do you guys go to a year?
We're going at least Friday and Saturday. Every Friday and Saturday.
Really? Every Friday, Saturday.
So I mean, we say 2 or 3 every weekend.
Yeah, and that's year round, even winter.
Yeah.
In the winter, not necessarily for me.
I say that. I mean, we got the bar over there in Jackson that we'd go to both nights, and it's just a little bit of pocket change, maybe $1,000.
Pocket change, $1,000.
That's pocket change for bull riding. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that how much that is for seeing. When you talk about making money at it, I don't know how that works in bull riding, but that's like a fighter. The day you make $1 more than your expenses, you are a professional fighter.
Oh, really?
That's how it is. So, and if you're not making, so when if you're coming to an amateur show, I can give you a room, I can buy your gas, I can give you food. Everybody for the good ones, there's a little bit of that under the table, But legitimately, as soon as they receive $1 in profit, and even if it's a purse, like me and you're going to fight, and we got 1,000 to win, or pay 5,000 to win and 1,000 to lose. So either way, we show up. But as soon as we do that, that's what turns you into professional. You can't go back. You're never. Yeah, your professional career starts then, and so does your wins and losses. Okay. Is that the way that works with you guys? What classifies a pro?
I really couldn't. I'll tell you what I know. Like, it's just really a matter of fact of going, hitting the pro rodeo trail, going to the PRCAs and the PBRs. The bulls aren't much different.
Right.
Your PBR bulls are your top of the line. That's where people are. I mean, they're scientifically breeding them.
Yeah.
There. I don't know how all that works either, but I mean, these bulls are getting better and better every day.
Yeah.
So with your PBR, you have your top dogs. Your PRCAs, still your top dogs, but it's like a step down. It's where they want to take a break, but they still want to do it. Is what I would say.
Yeah, I could see a place for that because at 8, man, you are at the prime of both of you at the prime of your lives. As far as and stand on point now is I'm not speaking about you guys, but just in general, that that age is easy to slip up and get off track. And when I say that, it's not just maybe drinking too much or getting drugs and whatever, women and men, whatever. There's lots of ways you slip up, but also if you're going to be a champion, and I don't want to be the guy to push you into something, but if you're going to be a champion, those people, the other slip ups are going to be the people that you're get in your ear and nag at you, and you're like, maybe they're right. Maybe I should just get a job. Maybe I should
Yeah.
just do this. So yeah, it's easy to slip up and then have regret. There's a saying that says pain of discipline is far better than the pain of regret.
Yes.
Staying
Agreed.
at it.
100%.
Yeah. So money wise, what's a big show? Tell me and here's the thing, is it just a top 3, top 4, one dude, or and then I want to know about the barrel racing too, how
I
they
would
do
say
that.
again, it's just more of the association or just the rodeo in general. I know a PBR has to be at least 10,000 added, so that means 10,000 added among the fees of the other bull riders that are there. So you add 10,000 plus, say, fees are 150 times however many riders are there. Then you'll take a fee out for the stock charge, and then the rest goes 50, 30, 20, first, second, third, or so on, however many they pay.
But usually like 3 or 4.
It's usually, yeah, I was going to say, it's usually 3.
I think I really screwed up, dude, because it took me forever just to make like a $2,000 purse, but I was fighting back when it was just getting started,
Oh, okay.
I was traveling all over just to fight and
Yeah.
taking whatever I could get. But
Mm.
so you're telling me like a bull rider could go in and first place hit a big number, like what, 10? Are you saying 10,000 or does
Yeah,
he break?
greater than 10,000.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, my buddy Hudson Bolton, he's won. Heck, I think the last one he just won was like 30,000.
Yeah.
Another buddy, Tyler Greer, he won the Zebra National Finals last year and won 24,000. So it just depends.
Dude,
Like,
I need to get my little boy back into it. Yeah, it sounds
yeah,
like, I can see where that could be one. So basically, if you're telling me you ride one bull per night, right?
yeah,
And you make 30 grand for that one ride.
yes.
Now
At
you
the
got
at the finals, you go throughout the whole year,
okay.
but it's still one bull.
But you're making money throughout the whole year,
Oh,
right?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So what about the barrel racing? Do they have pretty good purses too?
Well, it just kind of depends. Because you've got your rodeo side of it, and then you've got your just barrel race, jackpots, futurities, derbies, that side of it. For us, there's usually a lot more money in just like the barrel jackpots and the futurities. So like rodeos, there was one night back when I was still living at home in Ohio. I took second and I ended up taking home $800 that night, just for a 12-second run. But then you get over to like the futurities and things like that, and you can be making upwards of $30,000 and $40,000 out of one run, and usually it's no more than a 17-second run that you're making every time. So there's a lot of money in it for sure.
So yeah, I think you got a leg to stand. Well, that's bad pun. Sorry, I was gonna say you had a leg to stand on with making money at it, and there's potential there. And from my experience in going to rodeos, there's usually like what, 10, 15 guys riding bulls, if that.
Yeah.
And you got to.
Really, there's not even. There's here lately. It seems like it's just 2 or 3 bull riders.
Yeah.
Like I said,
So there's a pretty good chance you're gonna win some.
yeah,
Right.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, me, I can ride bulls pretty decent. So I go to a rodeo and I don't see a familiar face. I'm like, oh, okay,
Ready?
money's
Let's
coming
go.
home with me
Yeah,
tonight.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you got guys that show, and then like somebody's like, why do you want to do a podcast? Well, I got my reasons. I enjoy talking to people, like learning. We talked a little bit about that. But, and if I was to get successful or not, it doesn't matter because I just like doing it. But if I get successful, I'm looking at, they said there's 1 million people doing podcasts right now. Okay, I got you. But I'm not competing against 1 million people. I'm not competing against Joe Rogan and those top guys. I'm not there. I'm not competing with. And then the bottom 30% are guys that hit and miss and may do one, may not, using their phone in their bathtub. I'm not competing against those guys either.
Yeah.
So I'm eliminating, that crunch. And then I take in the area I'm at, and where we could do here. And podcasting, really the money's not in monetizing or anything. It's in sponsorships. Do you guys work with that too? Do you get sponsorships?
Yeah.
On my end of it, So I don't really know much with his side, but
I'm not the best with it. Chip sponsored me there for a little bit, and I actually Cowboy Fencing. That's the shirt I'm wearing right now. He's sponsoring me this year.
See, you
So
got to get better at that because
yeah.
you just now said it. You should have been
Well,
plugging them all away. I'll
he-
tell you what, we're gonna put that in. Yeah, so like Joe Rogan and some of those guys watch our show. But we're gonna put Cowboy Fencing on your and make sure that we show them in
yeah,
this so that they get a little plug there because I
heck yeah, he'll like that.
yeah I want you got to get that sponsorship too. I think that's important. So
Yeah.
and you
as of right now, I don't really have any real serious sponsors. I did a lot when I was younger, back running at high school rodeos and things like that. My mare was actually injured for about a year and a half, so I've been out for a little while. But big shout out to the guy that does my horse's feet, Austin Hatler.
Mhm.
He keeps my horses sound, and he
Yeah.
keeps me able to go down the road every weekend.
I learned how to do it when my first horse with my daughter, but definitely a lot. These guys are they know what they're doing. It's like I'm spending half a day, they're half an hour.
Yeah, I also have to watch really close with my mare because, like, I know how to pull a shoe, tack one on, reset a horse, whatever. I can do it if I have to. But my mare, her injury was kind of more specific to her foot. So I do have to watch really close with her with angles and is she standing too far up on top of herself? Is she too far back on her heels? Are her heel bobs falling? Is her coffin too close? Like all these different things. And it's just hard because trying to keep an eye on that and trying to find somebody who's good enough and knows what they're doing well enough to keep her sound for me has been really difficult.
And training on top of that.
Yeah.
So I sound like you got it easy.
A little bit.
You just show up, get on a bull.
Yeah.
I gotta worry about myself. He
I
doesn't
was
have
gonna
to
say,
worry
I
about
go
an
a
animal.
little bit of practice
Yeah.
during the week. Not as much as I should.
So-
Well, I mean, I can't now, but
Yeah.
before I wasn't. I'd
So,
go maybe
yeah.
every Monday, every other Monday.
I was going to ask you about that. It's really hard. I say it's really hard to practice how to ride a bull without getting seriously injured. But do you have like weight train and stuff like that? Do you do any of that extra?
No, I don't. You're professionals. I mean, they're athletes.
Oh, yeah, I can
I mean,
imagine.
they do work out every day. They got their certain stuff they do. They probably eat better than I do.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just more of the having fun.
Yeah.
When I'm having fun, I'm winning.
But when you go, you're looking at this as a. I don't know how long you got. How long does a bull rider usually make it? Just give me an age of give me an old.
I was just
I
say
was gonna say give me an
25,
old
30 years.
old bull rider.
Years
What would an
old
old bull rider be?
I mean, 25, 30.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I thought maybe a little longer.
A little older, maybe. You do have your. I mean, you got your veterans. I've seen a 60-year-old man get on a bull.
Yeah.
It didn't go that good, but I've seen a 60-year-old man get on a bull.
I'd say.
Yeah.
How old was that?
40. What is that?
40.
He's,
And that's old.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's hard when you start getting older and start getting realization. My last fight, this was 10 years ago, and the dude showed. I had to cut weight. You don't have to worry about that, right? There's no weight class. You can be whatever weight you want. I'd say heavier is better. Yeah. But I had to cut weight, and I remember when I was younger, I cut 24, 22 pounds in 24 hours. It's just mainly water. There's every sport has their little tricks.
Yeah.
But we would just dehydrate. I would wear a sauna suit inside a sauna riding a bike. And you get out, you pull that sauna suit off, and it's 8 pounds per gallon of water. So water just falls. And then, so there's the other times when people would like take laxatives and everything it would take to just cut that weight. Guys do it all the time. And I was a big guy, but I was light for the heavyweight division. And so, but I was short for the light heavy. So my spot was a tough one because the guys were much bigger than me. But my last fight, I had to cut like 12 pounds. I was like, no problem. It's easy. But I was in my 30s or 40s at the time, and it was near impossible. And the night I showed up for the fight, and I was kind of big fish, little pond. Everybody knew me around here, but this guy came from out of town, and he showed up, and I guess people started talking. You were fighting Joe, and he got a little spooked. And then I was 1 pound off, and he's like, "I ain't fighting unless you do it." And I was like, "All right, dude," because usually we're like, "Okay, no problem, 1 pound." And I was like, "All right, I'll hit that weight, but you better bring a baseball bat tomorrow because you're gonna need it." And I can remember felt like I was trying to completely buck naked, standing on a scale, trying to float, that pound away. I finally hit it, but It was nasty. You guys got anything like that that you just have to give up? I mean, something you just have to say, okay, this is what it's going to take to win this rodeo.
Not technically to win the rodeo, but I mean there's a lot of sacrifices you gotta take to
Yeah.
go on the rodeo trail and actually give it a good little hit. Like
I would say that you've already spoken one of them. You're getting feedback from if you're not doing well, or why aren't you got a job? That's
yeah,
probably the toughest, I would guess.
that and really just not seeing your family because I mean I've been gone from anywhere to 8 months and maybe just text them.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's hard sometimes.
So when you guys are traveling, you're having to tote a couple of horses, right? Or at least one.
Yeah, I usually just take my one with me. My colt that I have down here, he's quite a bit younger, and he's just not been out to see the sights yet. And I'm usually having to tie my horse out to the side of the trailer overnight while we sleep and stuff. So I just rather not have him
Yeah.
tear my whole rig apart.
Right. Yeah. And here I'm gonna throw some lingo at you. You probably have to take a lot of tack too, right? Tack. Hey, look at me go, right?
Yeah, you're doing so good over there.
Yeah.
I'm quite
I
impressed.
know. Well.
But yeah, I have a whole section. It's on the back, so my trailer is double doors on the back.
Yeah.
One side is a little bit wider than the other. That's where my horses come in and out. And then on the other side is my back tack. And I have 4 different racks in there, so I can fit up to 4 saddles in my trailer. To keep all my bits, bridles, extra stuff.
You have to pack a lot of feed and stuff, or do they
Feed
provide that?
not as much because this time of year usually we're just gone for like the weekend,
Yeah.
so I can just get those gallon Ziploc baggies and fill those up and throw them in my front cut of my trailer where I keep all my hay and stuff. But I also keep my generator back in my tack room and
Wow.
any extra
A lot of
emergency
stuff right
stuff
now.
I
A
might
lot of
need.
stuff.
It's like a bunch, man. Yeah. Special diet for your horse. You got to keep them on a diet, or
My mare especially, yes. My other horse is not as much. But she does have a lot of problems because alongside her injury, she had EPM really bad.
Yeah.
It's usually horses get it from possums. They'll kind of bed down in their hay and poop on their hay,
did
and
not
it can
know
be
that.
transferred
Yeah.
that way. It's a neurological disease, so it affects their brain and has to be treated pretty quickly, or it can kill them. So I've got her on a regular grain and then a whole grain on top of that because she also kind of struggles to keep weight on. She's on the more petite side. Um, I've got her on probably 5 or 6 different supplements that are. I work really close with my vet, and we did some kinesiology stuff. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or know how they do that.
No, but I'm guessing it's something to do with chin.
Yeah, so like each supplement, I'll hold one in my hand and I'll put my other arm out next to me, and he will keep a hand on my horse and then take that other hand and try and press my arm down. And I just have to try and hold as tight as I can, and if it drops, it means that supplement's not going to work for my mare. But if my arm stays up, it means that it would work well for her.
That's weird.
It's weird. It's like your animal has a connection with you in that way,
You
and
guys are
that's
like,
their way of being able to
yeah.
tell you what they do and don't need.
You're like Pandora, like Avatar. You're like linked to them. Huh?
That's why I'm giving her the look I did because I don't
Absolutely
I don't
You
pay
insane.
think
attention
you
to none
think
of this
it's
stuff.
magic or something?
I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
When I talk, he doesn't listen. But I tell you what, I know more than he thinks I do.
Oh yes, sure.
Well, I will say this. Sometimes, I listen to my wife and I go, "Oh yeah, yeah. It's so much easier." Like I'm
Yeah.
just saying, "Oh, that sounds really interesting."
I've heard the phrase "happy wife, happy life."
Yeah, it is. Sometimes that's hard, but
Remember that one.
sometimes just so back at it. Where were we at? Tristan, you remember? What's your job? Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So, as far as we kind of looks like you have a lot to keep up with, like tack and vet bills and stuff. Do you have a lot of gear that you have to do? Before you answer that, everything that I've ever been into, there's a certain guys out here that are more into the gear than they are the the show. The guy, they show up. I remember I used to be into paintball guns. Really, we used to go battle like crazy, and we'd go out to the Fort Campbell. They once a year they'd open up to paintballers this
Oh, really?
training area, and they got these 3-story buildings, and you go high, no windows, no glass. So we just,
Yeah.
and I mean, they say go, and it would be like misting rain, but it was just so much paint in the air.
That's awesome.
And I would you had to wear a mask,
Yeah.
and I would wear my mask, and I had a t-shirt and shorts. And then you had these other dudes show up, man. They look like freaking, LAPD SWAT,
Yeah, I was gonna say, all
completely
geared up.
geared up, man.
Yeah.
But I would come home. I'm sure they didn't go home like I did, because I would go home and I would have so many bruises that they would double up. You couldn't even count them. There were so many. Yeah, because
Wow.
there's just so much. There's this one game, and I'm getting a little off track here, but I'll tell this story. There's this one game. It was I can't remember exactly the premise of it, but it ended up that there was a bunch of guys outside the building, a bunch of guys inside the building. We were trying to take the building. It might have been a president game. It was where they would have one individual dude, and your team was to protect the president. So all the other team wanted to do, I don't care how many of you they shot, they were trying to shoot that president.
Yeah.
And so we're going toward it, and I'm sort of kind of a leader kind of mindset. So I'm grabbing guys. I'm like, come on, by the time I get there, I got like 15, 20 guys behind me. We're all bunkered down, and they're hammering out. As soon as all that settles, I go 2, 3, go, and I jump over and I'm running at this building, thinking I got 20 guys behind me, and I realize it's just me. And these guys just settled down. They weren't going to go out there, and that whole building stood up, and it was like you probably haven't seen the movie Platoon, but it was just me out there, and they were
lighting you up.
I was like,
Oh gosh.
oh, it was a tough one, man. But yeah, so the gear. Get back to it. Excuse me. Sometimes I get sidetracked. A lot of gear for bull riders, and
I mean, you have your helmet, your vest, your glove, boots, spurs, rope. I'm probably missing some stuff. I mean, chaps are. I mean, those really aren't important to me, but those are really. It's more for looks. The chaps are your leggings.
yeah, look the part, right?
Yeah, it's just flashy.
Yeah.
But those are probably the most expensive. I paid $800 for the last pair that I had.
Wow. Yeah, but again, you got to be that showman too.
Yeah.
That guy that I've seen it many a times. Some of the best fighters in the world never made it to the big show because they weren't interesting. They weren't fun to watch. They'd get out there and get in a grappling technique and just hold it and just wait and win. But nobody wants to see that. They want the guys to go out and throw Jonathan up there again. It's going to be in the podcast, people. Guest, Tristan. This is the guys that people want to see. He'll get up there in a second, but you got to be a showman. You got to make the money and to get the invites, and
like a lot of people.
It'll be on. Tristan, I got a picture of him in the podcast guest.
A lot of people like judge me because I am tatted up, and like you said earlier, the rodeos.
Yeah, I didn't think about a little conservative.
I call them old heads. Your old heads do not like tattoos at all.
Really? I wouldn't see that in. Yeah, go to the desktop, Tristan.
There's a man in Clarksville, Tennessee. I ain't gonna say his name because he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well named dude. He's 3-time PBR world champion. But anyways, I introduced myself to him, and before he said, hi back or said his name, he turned my hand and flipped it and noticed my tattoos, and those are trashy.
Done. Yeah.
And I kind of looked at him. So good thing they aren't on your hands.
Yeah.
And I think the next day I went out there and I rode a bull. That was just good. I stepped off, landed on my feet, and he went to go give me a high five, and I was like, no.
No,
Like,
look at you.
I'm that person. If you tell me something, then I'm like, okay, I'll show you trashy real quick. And then it's not trashy. I'll show you
respect for yourself.
Yeah.
I get that.
All right, look what I can do.
Yeah. Well, take a look at this guy. We looked at him earlier.
Yeah. I mean,
he's like the bull. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you what, this dude will show up, and we talked about it. He's coming on our show because he heard we were talking about him at one of the pod shows. He fought for me at I would promote shows too, and he fought one of my fighters, and we talk highly of him because we love the guy. He will show up, and like when he comes out to the ring, he used to wear a mask and a machete.
Oh, really?
Showman, man.
Yeah.
And you look at him, he'll show up. He'll be here, and he'll show up with like a pastel pink, polo, and he'll have the biggest watch you ever seen, the whitest shoes you have ever seen in your life. I mean, he looks the part. Nicest guy you ever meet, dude. Nicest guy. He'll be the guy when you need help on the side of the road. every church person, everybody else will pass you by. This guy, he's that kind of guy to stop and help you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that's why, it's so easy to judge somebody like that, or
Yeah.
somebody when, shaking their hand and they got a couple tattoos on
You
them.
can't judge a book by the cover. You got to read a chapter or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. And those, for me, tattoos have been a kind of a part of my life that, I always really tell people, I said, be careful when you put tattoos there forever.
Yeah.
And my wife, she like wants to do different ones. I'm like, think about it, before you really put it in there, because 80-year-old tattoos don't look as good as
Oh God.
Like y'all
yeah.
have rolls.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
And
Yeah.
it's not even. It's just Google. I looked it up.
Oh, it's
And
not even a
yeah, no, it's
real
not. It's not a certain
yeah.
girl. It's just Google.
We'll go with that. It's not really a certain girl.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
the truth.
No,
Like,
yeah.
It's me. Well, as you know, it's me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He doesn't
she
know yet.
wishes.
See, well, for all my tattoos, they'll have something that they represent a part of my life. Different things that I went through and things like that. So
Yeah.
they're real important to me. And and then we had a tattoo artist on here. Actually, the guy that gave me this one here, and he might have done this 7 too. He was on here. Hank. What was Hank's last name? Hank Swift.
I-
Really cool older dude. He very
Bald.
yeah.
He's done a few on me.
We
His
call
son.
yeah. Okay, we
His
call
son
him an
did my
OG,
hand.
and you look at him, you're like, but then he's like a really nice guy. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a
like,
teddy bear.
yeah, he is. He's like really. Anyways, he's really trying to build his art. He wants to, at a time in his life where he's kind of going through some, wanting to put a stamp on the world.
Yeah.
So he came on. It did really good too.
And he's
People
got the talent to do it.
he does,
He's
yeah.
really good.
If you get a chance, check it out. He's on there. I don't know what episode, but Hank was on there and he showed some of his art. And
Heck yeah.
it was one of my first, so it was a little, we were getting used to things, learning
I
video.
think he was the one who did my first tattoo on my side.
Really?
Yeah, because he did my mom's first tattoo.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, very cool guy.
He was back in the day before you were probably even around. Did Jolly Rogers the actual when Jolly Rogers was like the place in town. I mean, it was big. It was the biggest. Not just tattoo. Everybody wanted to be there. It's just a hangout spot.
Yeah.
And he was a rock star back then. I'm telling you, dude, he was a rock star. And yeah, built the life out of it. But he talked a lot about tattoos and how it affect. That you can imagine what it's like with that older guy.
Mhm.
Well, we grew up with older, so our generation, tattoos were taboo and the
Yeah.
devil and, all that kind of stuff. So it was,
Yeah. I've heard it all, dude.
yeah. I think you got to watch out. It's really hard to get a job when you got, a spider web on your face.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I don't think I'd ever get a face tat,
Mhm.
but I mean, I will. I mean, you see
I like
my legs.
I like hand tattoos, but my wife she doesn't like it for some reason.
I got the rose on my hand because every rose has its own, its thorns.
right.
Everyone's got their mess ups.
Sure.
2003 was the year I was born. I
Yeah.
don't know why I put that on my fingers, but
Yeah, why not? I got 7-2, and everybody thinks that's the year I was born, but it wasn't. It's a black 7 and a red 2. It's the worst poker hand you can get dealt out the gate. Yeah, you get a 7 deuce off. And I play the hell out of it, and I love turning it over and bluff somebody out, and it pisses, gets them pissed off.
Yeah.
And then they go on what's called tilt. They're like, tilt is when you lose a hand and lose a lot of money that you should have won because somebody did something stupid like play 7.
They played you.
Yeah, and they get pissed, and then they play stupid, and
Yeah.
there's lots of ways to do that with poker. Do you guys ever play any kind of psych games like that in bull riding? Like,
No.
try to psych them out like, oh, you're riding what bull? Really?
Some, I say no, but yeah, sometimes. Yeah. I worked for Lone Star last year, rodeo company throughout the IPRA Association. And I got pretty familiar with all the bulls. And some of these boys, I drew 732. I'd be like, man, he just knocked some boy out last weekend.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Or he sent some boy to the hospital, broke his neck, and all
Oh,
these
yeah.
boys I don't know if I should get on him. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you'll be fine. And then
Yeah.
he just comes out there and he's a turd.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ah, man, I'm sorry.
Do you get that? Like, fresh guys, newbies come out and they're like, we had that. I remember I would have fights set. These dudes would show up, and then I'd sign them up and get them in and everything, and then their fight would come, and they were like, nobody knew where they were.
Yeah.
They just bolted.
You have sometimes no shows, but most of the time, most of them boys are already psyching themselves out. And once you get on top of that bull in the buck and shoot, there's no coming out. Most of them boys are going to shove you back down. Nah, you're already on them.
Yeah, you got
Go ahead.
So on that, how often do you get like minor injuries?
Like,
Like get
Uh,
hurt. So in the
yeah.
fight game, we would say, "Are you hurt or are you injured?" If you're hurt, get back in there. If you're injured, you broke a leg or
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, most time it's just hitting the ground.
The
It's the
ground
worst
hurt, yeah,
part. You know, it
gravity.
might jar you back a little bit, and like I said, you're hurt. You're not injured. You're just a little sore.
I would see between. Well, you guys say you do it quite often, right? You go,
Yeah.
yeah,
For him, I would say he's probably hurt
all
about
the
every
time,
other ride.
all the time.
No,
Yeah, walking
yeah,
around
about
hurt.
every other ride though.
Yeah,
He's usually like, "Will you rub my shoulders?
yeah. Well, I
My
mean,
arm
a
hurts."
fighter, we were always hurt. I mean, you were always something not right. I mean, but and I could see what you guys do. If you were like, I bet when you go back, that first two rides is you're gonna be sore as hell.
Oh, I think
Because
I'm
that
gonna
is a
be nervous.
yeah.
Just mentally weak. I don't want to break it again because that means I'm out longer. That's
Yeah.
longer. I don't make money.
I think though that sometimes that's like, I can see where you're coming with that and I don't know. But for me, a lot of times was, that's the thing I was worried about and it wasn't as bad as I thought. It maybe even led me to something that, like now you have that time off, you can really think, maybe
Yeah.
get some strategize where you're going. She's fine.
I'm
What's
sorry, she's just
Yeah.
a mess.
No, that's fine.
About
We
like her
have
mother.
like I said, we had some monster dogs in here the other day.
I'm
Um,
surprised she's not climbed up in my lap
yeah,
yet.
she's welcome to. But I bet that yeah, after not because I see all. I mean, you're doing a lot of moving up there,
Yeah.
unwilling. They're making you got to do it right.
Yeah.
So when you say you have to have your own rope, that what is that called? Is it just rope?
Bull rope.
Bull rope,
Yeah, rope.
and that's pretty important, right?
Yeah, that's what you tie around the bull to hold on to. You tie your hand in on that.
And if something's done wrong there, you can lose your grip. You can,
So we got this stuff we call rosin. It's pretty sticky stuff.
yeah,
Pine tar is some of it, and you know that stuff's pretty sticky
yeah,
if you've ever used it.
yeah,
So you'd rub that on your rope, get it warm and sticky, and that's also what keeps the rope in your hand and get you some good grip. I like to use a bunch of
yeah,
it.
right. I can see that. Do you ever like injure your arm from holding on, like
uh,
dislocation shoulders and stuff? I mean,
I haven't
not just
never.
you, but in general, like
I haven't, but yeah, I've seen people. I mean,
tear their arm up pretty bad.
not yeah. I mean, tear their arms, their bicep stuff. I mean, a roll up like a tootsie roll. It's pretty nasty sometimes. But they just like hyperextend it.
Yeah,
And they'll just Cody Nance. I mean, 2 years ago I watched him, and I guess he just really got jerked, and it ripped every tendon in his arm or whatever. And like I said, it looked like a dang tootsie roll up there, just
hmm
Popeye muscle right there.
yeah. I've seen a lot of dudes tear their biceps and
And yeah,
backs and whatever.
that's
So you got in the barrel racing. I've seen some pretty nasty spills too, and you got like a 1,200 pound animal coming down on your
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah. The biggest thing with us is more of just our horses falling
Yeah,
more than anything else. Because usually once you get to that point where you are going out there and competing, your horse is kind of outgrown and been trained out of the bucking, rearing, all that stuff that could possibly just send you flying. Um, but more often than not, it's horses tripping in the dirt,
yeah,
falling
sliding.
down. But I will say the only other big thing is our knees. I'm
Mm.
gonna be screwed if I ever want to wear a wedding dress that has a slit in it,
Yeah,
because my knees are uglier than sin.
yeah. Well,
Just from hitting metal barrels all the time.
oh,
He's even
sure.
seen a couple of them, and he's like, "That just looks gross."
Well, I guess too, your knees are like that shock absorber, and you're really pounding through there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Keeping. Um, and I think everything to be a champion, you gotta push it to the limit. I mean, it's everything you do. You gotta, like you say, you want the real bull. You don't
hmm
want the easy ones. And I'm sure shooting out there, you're going as hard as you can to the limit you gotta have to make that turn.
yeah.
You want to go and everybody's like that. Every race car driver who's ever really made it, you can't just play it safe always,
Mm-mm.
right?
No, I've always been about taking the risk.
Yeah,
It's just part of life. I mean, if you don't take a risk, you
it's
ain't really had no good stories to tell.
that's true. Yeah, I got a bunch of stories to
Yeah.
tell. And it's just different people. People are different. It doesn't mean that one's bad and one's
Mm.
good or one's better or worse. It's just it takes all kinds. Other than this injury here, have you had any other serious ones or?
I've broken my left arm twice, my right arm once, and I've shattered my nose twice.
Yeah,
So,
you sound like me. I can go through a list of all the years
oh
of
yeah,
yeah,
it's every summer too. It's never
yeah,
been during the winter. It's always during summer.
yeah. The weather play a factor. I can imagine rain, but I mean, when it gets hot as hell, it's like 95 degrees out there. I'm sitting up in the stands, sweating my ass off, not wanting to be there, and you're out there with all this gear on,
Yeah.
with the probably a bull is like a radiator heater underneath you.
It's not that bad.
Really?
Now the gear, it does conduct the heat pretty good, and I usually don't try to put it on until I'm about to get on my bull.
Yeah.
If it is outside now, if it's indoors,
Yeah.
it's pretty bearable, and you'll be all right.
You probably can't go out there with a set of shorts and Crocs and a tank top, right? That's
Um,
gonna happen.
You could at a practice pin.
Yeah.
I've seen boys come out in jeans, no shirt, throw
Just
on a vest,
just to
and
be cool. Yeah, just
yeah.
to get through that. So you say there's a kind of conservative group. Whenever I go to a rodeo, I'm very patriotic usually, especially lately. You
Hmm.
see a lot of that. But then you got the older group, and you say they're pretty conservative as far as this is the way you should be, right? Like the
Yeah.
tattoos and
Yeah. Shirts tucked in, wearing your boots, cowboy hat.
mhm.
A lot of them say you gotta starch your jeans, this and that. I don't starch it.
Starch your jeans.
Starch them.
It's
They
That
like
still
the
a
is
very
crease.
popular
that
thing.
sounds like the boomer crowd, really. Is
Like,
that what you're talking about? Like that group
oh,
older than me, right?
yeah.
Or my age too?
There's boys my age that still crease their jeans,
That's crazy.
and there's boys younger than me that are doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point in it. I don't see how it makes
Um,
it look good.
yeah.
I wear my jeans normal.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the buckles. It seems like that's the big, is that the big, other than the monetary money? I mean, the buckle is kind of the thing, right?
Yeah, I've got 7 at the house. That was one. But there's a lot of cool stuff you can win with it. You can win saddles, knives, spurs, like you said, buckles, rifles.
Rifles.
Yeah, they'll have them custom engraved, and
That's pretty cool.
I haven't won a rifle yet, but I'd sure like to.
I'm sure you're going to.
He's
Yeah.
been talking about it for forever, and I think it might drive me insane
I
if he
think
It's
doesn't
a
get
big
one at
deal, I
some
would
point.
I
say.
think the rodeo that had the one to win it was the 12th.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had entered it, got into it, and had to tell him I wasn't coming no more.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that being a pretty prestigious thing, kind of a
Yeah.
goal. What about you guys? Do you guys get trophies or just money?
Well, obviously for us the big thing is the money more than anything else. But we also get like the buckles and the saddles and different things like that. Something that's been really big at a lot of the futurities here lately is trucks. For whatever reason,
Trucks?
they're giving out trucks. I
Yeah.
don't.
You guys are telling me the rodeos are slowing down. I mean, it seems like you guys are getting some big ass prizes
Yeah,
compared
well,
to what I'm used to.
there's definitely still a lot of money in it. It's more just the younger generations aren't really one
Yeah,
to get involved in it, and there's not as much spectators
yeah, not as much
as there
interest
used to
from the
be.
younger
Yeah,
crowd.
Mm-mm. I'd rather look at an iPad.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough spot though. It's
Yeah.
everybody can't be the same. It's similar to that guy with you and the tattoos.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, you're losing. I was at a graduation recently, and I think there was 3 people joining the military, and 2 of them was the National Guard. So I'm like, and that's been a trend. You're seeing that go down, and even politicians. People, nobody wants to. Who wants to be a politician? And yeah,
That's too
there's a
much.
lot of those groups out there that are really dwindling. Military and police, of course. So yeah, who knows? But I don't know. I start to see a shift. I think it's a shift. I try not to be judgy on a lot of people.
Me too, but
Because like you said, people judge you. But at
yeah.
the same time, I'm like, that's not for me. You know what I'm
They
saying?
might run through my head sometimes, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
I say sometimes my hypocrisy runs deep because
mhm.
I'm good. You can do whatever, but mine no. And my wife, these Crocs. Don't tell me if you do. I almost wore my boots tonight. I was going to impress. I was going to impress you, but they wear my feet out after a while. They're so tight.
Yeah.
But these Crocs things, and then we'll go out, and people are wearing pajamas and Crocs, and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to judge, but my wife was like, I'm just going to run up to Dollar Tree and ride with me. I'm like, I ain't riding with you if you're going to wear Crocs and pajamas. You're going to have to put some jeans on and some shoes.
We're both pretty bad about it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not judging you at all.
I get looks quite frequently because my mom actually makes pajama pants and blankets and stuff out of fleece and things like that. And I almost always, anytime we leave the house, if it's not for a rodeo or I don't have a reason to be
Or a
dressed up,
podcast.
or a podcast, yes, this is probably like the first time I've actually gotten dressed in the last 2 weeks.
Longer.
I'll have PJ pants, a hoodie, and my slippers on.
Landon, there's some benefits to that, I guess, right?
No, not in his mind.
Not in his mind. So, yeah, I'm not trying to be too judgy. It's just my generation was like, and then sometimes I see these beautiful young girls out, and they're still beautiful. They got the face on. They got all this stuff going, and they're wearing pajamas and these big ass house shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know,
You
man.
only got like a third of the way. Why did you not just do the other 2/3?
You know,
like
it
they
takes
just give
longer
up.
to put a face on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
The clothes.
it does.
Funny, yeah. Back when I was younger, the face was much more than it is now. I don't care for a lot of makeup, and it's not my, I don't have the right to judge that either. I don't care how much makeup you wear or what, but for my personal preference, I don't care for a lot. I like a little, but you remember back when I first got into body work and airbags started to be a thing, and you would get a car come in with an airbag blown, and you'd look at it and you could see the woman's face on there, and you see the eyebrows, mouth, everything. Yeah.
I will brag. She isn't too bad about putting it on. She don't take that long to get ready.
Yeah, my
But I
wife's
think,
same way.
I was gonna say, I think she's learned that when I'm
ready to
when
go.
I'm ready, we better be going.
Yeah.
Usually. I've never been a big makeup person, but I also have really sensitive skin. So
Well-
it just get clashes and I get itchy and
I'd say too. I mean, you're an athlete when you're out there doing what you're doing. It takes a lot, and you're hot and moving, and you don't want to,
You'd be surprised.
I bet there are.
there's
some.
definitely some of them that I'm like, "Ooh."
Hey, my wife's not big on makeup at all, and I'd much prefer not to do it.
Yeah.
But she is a country girl and hunting. She grew up with her dad, deer hunting, and that's one thing too, though. Like she's big in fishing. My little boy, man, dude, that guy, that's all he thinks about.
That's me
But
right now.
like if I want to go hunting with this friend, my wife wants to go because she's into all that. So
Yeah.
it's like, sometimes it's kind of a good and bad. But anyhow, she is big in the outdoors and doing stuff. But sure enough, she ever gets a deer, she can't. You gotta wait. She's got to get ready, get her hair put over in this.
We do have to make
she's
sure we
gotta-
look
and
good
she
if
gotta
there's
get
going to
that
be a
cute
picture
I
taken.
think you're just here for the picture, aren't you? Yeah. So, but very lucky there. But that new, like I said, the new guys, they see things differently than me. But so, kind of I don't know how many. Where are we at, Tristan? I'm about to wear these guys out. Oh, really? Wow, good. I still got a little minute. You good for a minute?
We're
I don't want to
fine.
wear you completely out.
No, I'm good.
Out in public. So I see you're wearing your, and I would highly suggest, man, that's where the money's at in everything is sponsorship. But do you guys kind of dress the part out? I mean, you look like just your regular
I was about to
nothing.
say.
I mean, I wouldn't say those are other than maybe just the deer or the steer on your shirt there.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
I mean, during the week, if I'm going out and about, I'll wear, I guess what your typical athlete would wear.
Yeah.
Shorts and t-shirt, and
But like, say you go out to eat one night,
then I'll wear jeans and a button up. Yeah.
but you're not. I mean,
On the day to day,
I ain't
I
gonna put a
dress the
cowboy hat
part.
on.
right?
I dress the part more than he does
Yeah.
on the day to day.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable in jeans most of the time, and with me usually trying to make sure I get my horses rode every day and
Yeah.
being out in the barn and outside with them, it's just easier.
Yeah.
Well, considering I can't get pant legs
Yeah,
over
and he
my
can't
leg
get
right
pants
now.
on right now,
Yeah.
so he's kind of stuck that way regardless.
I just sometimes you see those people it's more important to them that it's like and
Yeah.
It's more about the image
Yeah.
to them than it is about anything else.
yeah, I think you just got to kind of be yourself.
If that's what I was about to say. If you're yourself, you're gonna get accepted a lot easier.
Yeah.
I
I tell people, after so many years, so I used to train fighters and fought MMA, and in 30 years I was never tapped out or knocked out. I'm not bragging here, but maybe a little bit.
mean,
But
got to.
I never got tapped out or knocked out. I lost fights, but they were all to points. And then I was a professional poker dealer, and I collected money for poker rooms. And so I did all the guy stuff. So I got all the props. I can't, or so I don't have to. I can wear whatever I want, be whoever I want. I've already been there, done it. And my wife, I grew up in the country. I grew up on a cattle farm, and I grew up in Livingston County. But I did move a lot, different places. But my wife, I guess I'm not country boy enough. She's she wants me to wear the cowboy boots and the hat and I'm like, yeah, I did that a couple times and my foot hurts. So now I go to rodeos just like this.
That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I'm
got to be
saying.
you got to be genuine to yourself. It
Yeah,
just
I,
doesn't feel
I
right.
still don't wear boots to this day. I mean, I
Uh,
will.
do you wear them when you ride?
Yeah, when I ride,
Yeah, you almost
that's
have to.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't wear mine unless
Yeah.
I'm on a horse, and even then, I'll usually just ride day to day. And hey, dudes.
Yeah, but she goes through boots. I mean, she literally wears them out with like hole in the bottom, and she goes through quite a few of them. She wears, she loves them. But
So say a few months back, I just bought us a pair.
yeah,
I think I spent like 500 or 600 for both of them. We haven't worn them 10 times each.
yeah, you got to get them broke in. I think is the thing for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, they wear me out. But I guess you got the guys that's all they wear. That's just the life. They
Yeah.
But you're starting to see that change, right?
Yeah.
The new generation. It's just like everything else. They're doing it their way. Um, do you ever? So these big bulls, I'm sure there's a lot of money invested in these guys. They keep,
Oh yeah.
breeding and, once they're done, they probably go out to pasture and,
Well, once they get a certain age, they're classified as more of a breed bull.
Yeah.
You'll have I mean, heck, people can pay up to probably tens of thousands of dollars just to have that bull stay there for a few months and
just to
breed the
hang out.
cows that are there.
Yeah.
So there's a
Um,
bunch of money in on it.
then we talked about a little bit, and I almost forgot the bullfighters. That's kind of a new thing, right? Or
Uh,
ish.
the freestyle bullfighting is new.
That must have. I have to think that came from the rodeo clown kind of atmosphere because those guys seem, they're out there trying to get the bull to attack.
Yeah. What is it? Spain, how they fight the Mexican fighting
Yeah.
bulls.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's what they do here now. So
Okay.
that's where I'm guessing that's where it originated from. We
Yeah.
brought it back here to the USA. But I don't know. I think all them boys are crazy. I think what don't they have to a minute to fight the bull, and then if they want the additional 30 or 40 seconds, they can call for it,
Yeah.
and they get scored on how good the bull was, how fast he was, how like close he got to the bull, how much interaction he had with the bull. I think it's a score from 0 to 50 on the bull and 0 to 50 with the rodeo clown, same as
So
it
you're
is with.
wanting to make a show of it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I've seen some guys that, and some of these guys, I mean, any of them getting out there with a bull, you
you
have a
gotta be
little bit,
crazy.
yeah. But some of them, man, they're doing like they flip over the bull,
Oh yeah,
literally.
Chance Mormon, one of the
Maybe that's
best to
probably
probably
one
ever
of
go
them.
through.
Yeah,
I think I've seen him. I know DeKevis Jordan. He's one of them that does the front flips or the back flips over them. So I mean, it takes a true athlete to work with them too, because you got to be. I mean, just
yeah,
physically fit.
sure.
You can't get winded out there within the minute you're fighting them.
And it's like pro wrestler or wrestlers.
Mhm.
As an MMA guy back in the day, we would down him, and I mean everyone knows that that's pretty prearranged. But those dudes are fit, and they're
Mhm.
doing some very athletic things, and they pay the price later too. The bullfighters you're talking about, like the matadors and stuff. That is to and I don't know that I would not say that's probably not cruelty to animals there, because I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with it, but they drug them. Those little spears with the little
Yeah, I was
feathers.
about to say.
Those have
Actually, I don't think it's they're drugging them. It's the main nerve or something,
yeah.
the artery in their neck. So I think it's what they call man versus beast still. So I guess they fight to the death,
Yeah.
either the man or the bull.
Yeah,
And
I do. I'm pretty
but
sure
I,
that there are times they actually drug them to slow them down a little bit. But I
maybe,
know the
but I know
artery
they
could be.
also use them. They don't waste any of it.
No, they don't.
Let's
They
say they
don't.
use it for good use, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, they're gonna
They're
they're gonna
gonna eat it.
process
And,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. But the way they kill those bulls
it is
is
pretty.
sword.
Yeah,
They
it's
literally take a bull
it's pretty
charging, and
vulgar.
they have to be so precise because they're hitting it in the heart
Yeah.
to kill it, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And then they also have the running of the bulls. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, my a
That's
good buddy of
crazy.
mine, John Wayne Lackey, he wants to do it at least one time. He's a
That's
bullfighter
crazy.
as well.
Yeah. There's got I whoever runs those. I wonder where they get their insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sans Mormon did.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder about that too. The insurance on a rodeo's got to be
Which
crazy.
I would say the
It's not.
UTB and stuff has their own insurance because like the
Yeah.
IPRA with us running with their association this year, we're insured a certain amount.
Yeah. So you
Um,
don't have to worry if you were to get really injured, they're going to take
I
care of
think
you.
I
Yeah,
think
I think it's up to 5 or
yeah, I
10,000,
was gonna
somewhere in
say.
there. It's not anything huge, but they
I
do
mean, it's a
offer us
bunch of help
insurance.
though.
Yeah. I seen there's one day I remember we were there and well guy got it didn't look from the stands, it doesn't may not look like they're getting hurt. I'm sure. It's different down there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But this guy got knocked off and he was hard. They had to help him out, and next thing you know, there goes the helicopter. And I was like,
hmm
damn, that has
yeah.
to
I
get
mean,
done.
some of the injuries these boys are getting are the same as some of the injuries people have that are getting scraped up off the road.
Oh,
You know,
sure. Well, you got the same thing. You got a 1,500 pound
yeah.
son coming after you.
And a lot of people don't think about it. That bull riding, they don't think it's that dangerous. But at the same time, they say it's the most
They don't
dangerous
think it's
sport.
that dangerous.
A lot of people well, I say you're bull riders, they won't think that
The
it's that
bull riders will
yeah,
tell. Okay.
yeah, that's what I should say.
Yeah. It
But
looks
like I sit here
pretty
and I think that's where
freaking.
I mess up a bunch. I think about it too much, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to do this now. And then I'm
Yeah.
like,
I've been there,
this is
dude.
what I do. Let's do it.
I've been there so many times, like in fighting. You'll fight and you'll be in there and I mean, just being pummeled, you're tired. I mean, I've been so tired when I was fighting that I would take my arm and I would swing it. So I can swing over, you know what I mean? And as soon as it's over, you're back in the back puking, getting sewn
Yeah.
up. It's just, like, I ain't never doing this again. 6 months later, maybe I like to fight again, and I don't know why it is. I guess it's the crowd and the people and
Yeah.
the challenge of it. But
I'll tell you my favorite moment that I've probably had riding was in Murray. It was 2 or 3 years ago. I rode another bull of Dennis Morrison's. I ended up winning the deal, but anyways, I stepped off the bull and I went to go climb on top of the bucking chutes. But when I did, I kind of fell backwards. Well, I just threw a backflip. Like, why not? That whole arena was rumbling and like just I guess it was the people, the atmosphere. I don't know. It was just,
yeah,
it was like, whoa.
yes,
Like you felt it throughout your whole body. And
it's
that was like,
addictive. Yeah,
this is a good feeling right
yeah, it's
here.
addictive. It is. That crowd can really do something. Um, so future wise, what are you thinking? Are you just playing it by ear? Do you got a plan? You gonna be running a rodeo one day?
I'd like to at least go to the NFR, the
Yeah,
National Finals Rodeo. Only thing I got to do is just hit them PRCAs,
yeah.
try to make a name for myself and win enough to, I guess, go.
So you'll probably to do something like that. I mean, there's got to be some sponsorships and things
Yeah,
like that.
for sure.
Yeah,
Or I'm gonna have to get a job or something, but
yeah.
I'm not a working man.
Yeah, and I'm not against that at all. If you've got a certain skill set, it's like there's a story about a guy who goes and he wants him to come do this plumbing job, and he comes in and he comes over there. It takes him 15 minutes, $500. He's like, you're only there for 15 minutes. He says, yeah, but you're paying for the last 30 years of
Yeah,
training to be able to do what I just did because you couldn't do it.
yeah,
And that's the thing. I mean, if you're going to go out there and gamble, you
yeah.
gotta there's a certain thing that should come with that. So yeah, I get that.
And I've definitely tried working, but it just you can't do both of them at the same time.
Yeah, it's really hard to dedicate yourself to a sport. I done that for a long time and then try to work. And you just can't give it your all.
Mm-mm.
And then
Like,
when you with guys like that, when you're telling me, there's potential to make $10,000 in one night,
yeah,
and it's not that huge of it doesn't really seem like you got a lot of people lining up.
there's not much competition anymore. No.
Who would? I mean, who would work? I get it.
Yeah.
I would be laying up in bed watching cartoons. So, you know what I'm saying? But I do think that as you progress, it's going to be the talent level is going to start increasing.
Oh
There's
yeah.
going to be a certain amount of training and things like that.
I think if I was to take it just a little bit more serious, I could do everything I wanted with it. I just got to put my mind to it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Do you have trainers? Do some people have like trainers?
yeah. There's what's his name? I think it's Paul Lloyd. He's on Instagram,
Yeah.
and he's a personal trainer for a lot of people.
So
And he'll send you videos of the exercises that he thinks fit good for you and help you out with the things that you are missing and
yeah.
aren't doing the best.
Arm wrestlers. I've been, sometimes you get addicted to watching stuff like that, like videos and stuff.
Hmm.
And I watched this one guy and his arm, which for me, I just am starting to get able to straighten my arm out. But from so many years of arm bars, my arm wouldn't straighten past that right there. Like when I was sitting here, I couldn't go any I couldn't go down. Well, this guy's the same way. His arm is like this, and he walks around like this all the time. He's almost deformed. And this arm is a monster, and the other arm is big, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I look like a rodeo dude. That same thing. You're gonna have like this monster big
Oh, yeah.
right arm. And
That's
I feel like I noticed that a lot more with
bareback rider.
bareback
Hey,
riders.
Pat Sicky.
yeah,
His right
Yeah.
is it his right arm or is his
It
left?
is his right arm.
Yeah, his right arm is way bigger
Big.
than his
His
left.
hand and everything. Like his hand is double the size
I
of
was
his
gonna say
left
it's
one.
just real
It's-
veiny, and you can tell that's
Yeah.
what he
Ripping.
works with. Yeah.
yeah. So is there a big difference between those two? I mean, the bull riders.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of difference between bareback and bull riding.
Are they just more? Are they faster? I guess.
The horses are just more. I guess you'd say they're stronger.
Really?
Snatchier because
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
can see
think
what you're
them
saying.
horses when they buck, they're jumping forward. I mean, bulls do too.
And they're trying to launch you.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
yeah.
you're getting all their power plus your body weight too. I mean,
Right.
it's getting snatched every time. There's a lot of boys they tear their arms up a bunch in the bareback.
Yeah.
More with your bull riding, your bull's gonna turn back,
Yeah.
spin. So
I see that because like I'd much rather fight a heavyweight than a light heavy.
Mhm.
Light heavyweights are faster and they got more pop. Like a big guy will throw a punch, but the punch is slow.
yeah,
There's a lot of push behind it. Right? But these dudes would come in and they'd be just monsters. And if they ever got on top of you,
well,
Yeah.
you're screwed
it's
then.
no
So you
fun,
can't
dude.
get up, can you?
It's no fun. A big old dude and a sweat and a big hairy chest across your face. I would not make it as a woman. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. I remember one dude I was fighting at a jiu-jitsu tournament. We were rolling around. I tell this story too many times, but we were fighting, rolling around, and I'd got his back. And I don't know if you guys are too familiar with that, but I got my hooks in. I was getting my legs down. And I was getting a choke, set. And it was really hard to do. He was really good at keeping his chin down, but he had his long hair with ponytail. So I'm in. Now you got to imagine me on your back, right?
Yeah.
Pulling in, and and all of a sudden I get really close. I'm trying to get the choke, and I say, your hair smells so good. And he just tensed up, like, oh, what do I do? And he goes, thanks.
Thanks.
And then I choked the shit out of him. It was fun.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
That's funny.
All right. So we've covered a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
You guys probably didn't think there was that much stuff to
No.
talk about. Like, we ain't gonna be able to talk about none of those.
Like I know I can talk about it all day long,
Yeah.
really, but at the same time, you've asked some questions that not many people have.
Good.
So
I was about to say on the
Cool.
way here when we were talking, I was like, "You're gonna have to."
You're gonna have to run this thing
Yeah,
for me.
I don't talk too much.
you've done
Yeah,
pretty
you
good
done
though.
really
I'm
good,
quite
though.
proud
Yeah, I
of
think,
you. This is
and
more
the-
than you've spoken in a long time.
And really, the best thing about it is you're straight up, man. I like that about you. You're like, I don't like working. I don't want to work. I'll get on a
I think
bull.
everybody knows that.
I'll get on a bull that could possibly kill me for 8 seconds before I'm going to go to a 40-hour week. You know what I mean? I get it, and I commend you on being honest. If people were more honest, you'd hear a lot more of that stuff. Really.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the world would be a better place if people were just honest.
Yeah, honest. There's, what candor is. Candor is like being honest, but it's not holding back. It's like, and I've always had an issue with that. Like, a guy I watched called Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a big CEO dude,
Mhm.
and he says that's been his weakness, and he'll be like, I'll see somebody in a bathroom, one of my employees who's struggling, and I'm really not happy with his performance, and I'll talk to him, and I'll say, hey, yeah. And then go on, and then 2 weeks later, I have him fired, and the guy's like, what's going on, man? I never knew anything was wrong, and a candor would have been, hey, you really need to tighten up, dude. You're and I think I've really been trying to work on that, not giving that just that answer that they want to hear. You know what I mean?
I think it's more of my just I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you come across honest, but you don't come across smug. That's a problem. When somebody comes across and just being an asshole about it,
Yeah,
you're
no,
like, oh yeah, I get it, but geez,
yeah.
you didn't have to be an ass about it. At least you're not there. And I mean, it looks like you guys enjoy it, right?
I
You
love it.
love it, right?
I love it for sure. I think if it wasn't for rodeo, I'd probably be in jail or dead.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
uh,
Those things can
a
keep
lot
you
of
on
a
track.
lot of my friends that were my friends before I rodeoed are either dead and from fentanyl or
Mm,
in jail because they want to do stupid stuff. And I'm not gonna say I haven't done stupid stuff myself.
we all have.
Yeah,
I'll
I
probably
mean,
do something tonight, bro. Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, hell, it's
Yes,
just part of life.
you gotta
Like I said
live. You
earlier,
gotta
every
live.
rose has its thorn.
Yeah, and you gotta live. You can either exist or live, and I've seen too many people exist. I
Yeah,
definitely want to live. So you guys happy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Every
I
single
mean,
day.
I'm not happy about the leg being broke,
Well, no,
but yeah,
but in general,
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I mean,
you seem like you guys are pretty happy. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We live life the best we can.
yeah. These are kind of the questions. Those
Yeah.
are traditional pod. So I'm going to ask Sarah for what do you think the meaning of life is?
Ooh,
Yeah, I've had some good ones. I've had some.
ooh, that's.
Yeah. Some people are
I
like,
feel like you should have started with him. This is a bad
Oh,
idea.
you don't want me starting. I got all kinds of meanings of life that you'll hear.
yeah,
That's the thing. I don't really know because I feel like me personally, with the life that I've had and the way that I was raised, I've not gotten to experience enough
yeah.
to
You're
be
not there
able to
yet.
form my own opinion on what
That's
life
a great
is.
answer. That's a great answer. And the reason I say that is, the current vice president, like him or not, I'm not going to get into politics, but one thing that he did do on Joe Rogan, he was on there and Joe would ask him a tough question. And he like, I don't know enough about that right now. I'd like to look into that and get back to you. And that's what I'd want. I hate people to just puke out some generic, phrase. And I'm not, in this
Yeah.
situation, it's fine because it's a goofy question, but at the same time, it's an honest answer. You just
Yeah,
haven't,
like
you don't know
I didn't
yet.
want to give you some cliche crap that any
Yeah.
other 20-year-old
So
girl would give
Sarah's
you.
like,
I
check
just don't
back with
know.
me in 10 years after
Yeah.
I've been messing with this guy for 10 years and I might have a different view.
Oh,
Yeah. So Landon, what are you thinking?
I think life's just meant to be fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, live it the best you can, and what happens happens. I go day by day.
Yeah.
I don't have a plan. We could be sitting here on the way home and be like, "Let's go to Florida."
Yeah.
We got the money. We're going to Florida.
Yeah.
that would be about like our Texarkana trip.
Yeah, that we went out to the bar one night, rodeo,
Yeah.
and I got on a bull and I told her, I said, if I win money, I said we're going to the bull sale. She's like, okay. Well, we went out to the bull sale that same night. I think
Yeah.
we stayed at the bar. I had a few drinks and we pedaled to the floor and
Man, I tell you what, I envy you. There's a point when I was there, but it just gets tied up in this thing. And there's been times I was like, hey, let's go. We're 3-day weekend or something. I'm like, we're going to Florida. My wife's like, what? So I do envy you. I hope that you keep that. It's hard though. It's a hard life you're choosing.
yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of judgment and there's gonna be up and down. You're gonna judge yourself.
Yeah,
You're gonna be like,
I definitely do. I sit there and I think, why the hell did I get these hand tats?
Yeah.
Because I had that guy tell me, well, that's trashy. So I sat there and I said, what if it is trashy?
I do that all the time,
And
man.
then I sit and I'm like, well, screw what he's got to say. I'm me.
Yeah.
Just like, what's that penguin say on Surf's Up? Just let me be me.
Yeah. Right. I get that. And then I say that, I'll be like, screw these guys. And I'll be like, but maybe they're, it's hard. It's a cycle
Yeah, I
you
mean,
get
he's
into.
been there. He's done it. He is one of the big
Yeah.
dogs. I'm
But you got to
not
kind
a
of,
nobody, but to him,
yeah.
he don't know me.
You got to kind of look at the world as it's constantly changing and just, what, for 200 years ago, there was no such thing as rodeo. So what's the right way to do it? Just because a
Yeah.
bunch of people did it this way. I have a preacher that we talked to a couple times. He's like, people get in this mode of going to church and they think this is how it's supposed to be done. If you're not, you're sinning. But it's just stuff like not playing a piano. It's like,
Yeah, some goofy
why does that
stuff.
matter? Or
Yeah.
or way you dress in church, things like that. People get hung up on,
Yeah.
and the same thing in everywhere. Cars or these guys. I got people out here. Got to be Camaro's. Got to have this motor. Got to have this. I'm like, I don't care if it's a guy with a Honda Civic with a turbo on it. He likes. He's a car guy to me
Yeah.
because he's building a car.
He's doing his
I
best.
call them car snobs. You can call them rodeo snobs. If you,
Yeah.
that'd be a good one.
He said
A bunch
there's
of rodeo snobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so what are you thinking plans? Are you going to stick with the rodeo and
At this point, I've given up everything else in my life for me to be able to rodeo,
yeah,
so that's my intention.
cool,
End goal, I want to end up out in Arizona somewhere.
really,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to end up out
no,
there training horses for the rest of my life.
yeah, that's cool. I've been to Arizona a few times. I don't know if I've had some bad experiences there. Cool. um, what kind of music you guys listen to? You listen to?
Oh gosh, don't ask him that.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I
You
mean,
you can
there.
open my Pandora or my Spotify. It could be anything from Snoop to Frank Sinatra to
Yes,
Waylon Jennings
yes.
to
I
Waylon
mean,
Literally.
Jennings.
that's live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Here lately, I've been on an old country kick.
Yeah, I love old country. Now, when you're
Uh,
talking old, there's a difference beterent your old and my old sometimes
no,
because
like
they're
No, he
like
walking
means
some
like
out
people like
like
old,
90s.
old,
Yeah,
like
I
yeah,
like I like
some Dino and
yeah, oh yeah, there's some really
some
I
stuff
like.
like that.
I'm a big Cash fan and all the just that whole crew. But
I guess my likings would be a little bit older than
yeah, you're
Cash.
going
Yeah,
back. Yeah,
yeah,
you're going back to like Hank Senior kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some.
George and
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I like that too. There's a
Yeah,
time I don't know. I just get in the mood sometimes.
that's how I am.
Yeah,
Like hell, I'm gonna say Monday we were probably listening to some rap music.
yeah, I do. I do too. I'll go through a whole 6 months and nothing but Snoop and Eminem and Dre and all that. But that's
Yeah,
my generation of people.
yeah. I listen to Snoop. I mean,
Yeah,
any
it's
artist if the
it's
beat catches my ears, I start
yeah.
listening right away.
It's funny because the new generations, you know what Fortnite is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't make fun of me, man.
No,
Come
I
on, dude.
play.
Come
I
on, dude.
play.
Yeah. Well, my wife, that's what she streams. That's
Oh,
the
really?
main thing she
We're
streams.
about to start watching that. Sounds
Yeah,
like.
check her out. She's a lot of fun. She's entertaining.
now we got something new for y'all to do on the
Yeah.
couch
She does
tonight.
Twitch. She just started doing Twitch more. She was doing TikTok
Heck yeah.
mainly, but she's got a Twitch account. So check her out. That's the Hooligan Gal. Just we'll give her a shout out. She was just here. She did a podcast with
I
me.
think I saw that on your Facebook.
Yeah, she was a lot. She's a lot of fun just in that show. But so Fortnite. But then you got all these younger generations and making fun of the old guys, the old generation, the older guys. Yet there was like they had like Snoop Dogg and Eminem on there doing concerts on Fortnite. These dudes are grandpa age. Okay, they're older than me. Well, Eminem's the same age as me, but it's so funny that they give the old crew a hard time, and then
They got the
they
old
get
crew
they're
on their game.
still
Yeah.
like in the forefront. And then I saw, and I know this is way off point, but I saw Cher, and I don't know if you guys even know who that is. Because Cher was a big, huge pop star back in the 70s, and real pretty lady. She was on a movie last night I watched. She's 80 years old and still perfect face and sang with a voice. And I'm like, that's what money does, man. You got to get that.
Mhm.
That's where I'm saying everything in life. Money may not buy happiness, but they say it buys a boat. But if you want to save the rainforest, you need money. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that's what I was gonna
Anything you
say.
want to do. So that should be kind of a prime thing. If you,
Yeah.
and I try to tell my son over here that, you put everything you got into making that money now, and you can have such an easier life later.
I think that's where I mess up because as soon as I get money, I'm like, it's burnt.
Yeah, it's gone.
Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
I get it.
It's everywhere.
That just means you got to make more.
Yeah,
You got to
that's
make more. Yeah.
like I
I feel
think
like if I could get one lump sum of like $4 billion and
Like
then just spend it all instantly, I'd be fine for the rest of my life. I'd never have to spend
4 billion.
money like an idiot again.
I think 4 billion would cover me pretty good.
last year I won the Paris Fish Fry in Paris, Tennessee, and
Oh yeah.
I think I won 24.80 out there.
Yeah.
Well, we got on Marketplace, on the way home. I found a
Buy and sell.
CBR 600. They wanted 2,500. I said, I'll give you 24. Well, they didn't answer me back quick enough. I done went to Walmart, bought Legos. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, as soon as I was checking out, that lady texted me, yeah, you can come, or the guy texted me, yeah, you can come get it. And I was like, oh, man, I ain't got the money no more.
Yeah.
Just give me a week, I'll have it.
Well, I don't know what you guys' plans are as far as family later in life and kids, but that changes everything. So, right, I got a Dodge 2500 I haul cars with.
Mhm.
Dodge 2500 America. My daughter makes fun of me for it. But when she wants me to be able to pick up all her friends,
She wants you
Oh,
to pick
yeah.
it up. in
yeah,
that
I go
Dodge,
pick it up because I got lots of room. Well, I've had some issues with it. It's sick. It needs some attention. I got to work on it, make it better. So right now, my wife, I bought her car. I pay for multiple cars, but I don't even have one right now. And it's like, when you get older and you get to be a family, it's like that last piece of pizza, that you normally just eat. You're thinking, maybe my little boy would like. That's what later in life. So right now, man, live it up. Take, spoil yourself because later he's
Why
not so many people are gonna spoil you. The older you get, yeah.
I've learned that. I was an only child till I was 13, and then my mom had twins.
Ooh,
So that
yeah.
was a reality check, and it was a
Yeah.
pretty good one.
I have yet to learn that because I'm still an only child.
Yeah. Well, my youngest son, he's 8, so he's much younger than the other two. So he's it's almost like he's an only child in a
Yeah.
way.
He is, yeah.
He loves his brother, he loves his sister, but they want to, they're not into the things he's into. So my wife worries about that because she's like, you don't want him to, but hey, you turned out great, right?
I don't know about
Great.
great, but she's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you can at least say she got good taste.
Oh yeah.
You got
Oh
good,
yeah.
good taste.
Oh, don't tell him that.
Yeah, you gotta.
Look at that big old head
Yeah,
already. He don't
yeah,
need no more.
Yeah. Well, I'm all for you guys. I'm so glad that Chip put this together. Tristan, let's put a shot of Chip and Patty's up there. It's because he's really been influential. You talk about a brave dude.
Very.
Dude, I know Chip back in the day.
Yeah.
I know Chip back in the Halloween.
Probably hasn't changed a bit, has he?
He's changed a lot, actually.
Really?
He was very business minded. I mean, very. Nowadays, it seems like he's gotten to a point in life where he's like,
He likes storytelling.
Yeah, and he sits around that table with the,
with his little Yorkie.
Yeah, and I remember that back in the day in the Halloween parties, and you talk about some crazy parties, but that was back when his lifestyle was really judged.
Yeah.
Everybody gave him such a hard ass time, but then at the end of the day, he built an empire. He built a town. He built bigger than anybody.
I was about to say, you hear Grand Rivers, you hear
Patty's. That's what it is.
Yeah.
300 people, 300,000 come visit it. And he's done some amazing things, and he's really a cool guy. I've never been big into judging people for the life they want to live.
Yeah, if they're happy, so be it.
Whatever, man. Whatever makes you happy.
Well,
there's some things out there, but
yeah, like as long as you ain't trying to bug me and you're happy with what you do, it don't bother me at all. Yeah.
Good to see two guys like y'all coming up and really dedicated to something. And I'm a fan of the rodeos. Sometimes I get a little wore out, but by the time it's time for you to go. So,
well, maybe we can get you to the one in Benton this year and you can watch our run. I can get you tickets for it probably.
Absolutely. We'll be there for sure because my wife goes to all of them. We're always there.
So
or she's always there. She's always there. I sometimes don't. She's got friends, so but I'll be there this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Heck yeah.
And I'll be rooting for you. And I can't wait. So you probably won't make it this year, right?
No, not this year. I won't be back till about October.
Okay.
He'll probably be there though.
I'll definitely
if I'm
be
there, he'll likely be there.
We'll catch up. And I'll make sure I'm there.
Oh yeah.
And do you like wear a brace or something for a while after that? I would think that would be.
I think I'll have a boot on for a little bit, but as soon as my air boot comes off, I'm taking it.
He'll probably give you an ankle brace to ride in for a little while.
I would
too.
highly recommend taking care of that.
Not like a thick one, just like one of those small ones.
Like what?
The compression ones.
Yeah, something just
to hold it.
When you jump off that,
yeah,
you're landing with a little bit of support.
And that's the thing now. Like 2 years ago, when I broke my hand, they put plates or screws in it, and I was like, oh, that's stronger now. They've screwed it together. I'm sitting here now. My leg's gonna break a lot easier now that it's broke. But they sit here and put a plate and screws in it.
Mm-hmm.
If it had happened 2 years ago, I'd be like, come on, take it off right now.
Yeah,
it's stronger than it was before.
Yeah. Well, there's some stem cell stuff you can do too that helps regenerate that. So a lot of things you can look into. Gotta stay healthy. And well, I'm all for it. I'm glad to see two young people going after their dreams, and we gotta do what you gotta do. So wish you all the luck in the world. We definitely got to have you back.
Oh, for sure.
I want to see some belt buckles next time.
Oh, we'll bring the stuff.
I want the rifle next time. Okay, so you got to go win. If not next time, we'll let you come back. We'll let you come back until you bring the rifle. How about that?
Right,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Good. I can get some bullfighters in here and stuff too.
Oh yeah, let's do it. We'll call it.
We get some other bull riders.
Mm-hmm. So. We do the pod fight, so we could do the pod rodeo, and we'll call it something. Have these guys in here. Maybe they'll get rowdy. That's what we want. And
they can definitely do that.
Well,
I don't know how you are about just like sitting here and bullshitting about just random stuff. We'll sit here and, like you said, maybe drink some bourbon or something.
Yeah.
You'll hear some wild stories. Yeah. Most definitely.
Shelby will definitely be here for that. She'll want to be a part of it. And then my little boy, He'll want to be around it too. So
Oh yeah.
Oh,
How
we
how
get
old is
Jay
he
Swain
again?
he's
and Keely
8,
in
and
Yeah,
it's
I
here.
so
was gonna say
like,
we can get Jay Swain here and they'll be best friends. I think he's 5,
yeah,
but he
yeah.
don't act like a 5-year-old. He
No,
will
he
beat
acts
you
like
up.
he's
Oh, really?
13.
Well, my boy, yeah, he's a fisherman. He loves outdoors. He's
Yeah.
outside. He ain't got no shoes or no shirt on
That's how Jay Swain
all day
is.
long. I'm like, dude, you can't ride your bike with no shoes. You're gonna have problems. And I said, you're gonna see. I'm right.
See, that's another thing. A lot of younger kids, they don't know how to ride bikes anymore.
Yeah, all of mine
My
did.
little brother and sister don't.
Yeah, that's
My
crazy.
sister wants to. We've been trying to help her, but my brother,
It's the
Yeah.
first set of freedom, I can remember when Tristan started riding,
you
and
go
he was
away, go to
like,
your friends' houses.
he
if
was
they're not
gone.
too
He was
far.
like freedom. And then my daughter rode her bike on the driveway so much she would wear through tires just right after another.
Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I didn't learn how to ride a bike till I was 12.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't
learned
know.
to ride
There's
one when I
anything
was like
wrong.
3,
That's
2
what
or
it
3.
was.
Yeah,
That's what's wrong with me.
yeah, yeah. The different, yeah. The old we were jumping.
I was gonna say I had
We were
plastic
jumping
ramps
over
and
each other and
we
stuff.
could see how. I'm gonna see if you can jump 20
Yeah,
foot this
right.
time.
Yeah. We need that a little bit more. I think you're right.
Need to
But
bring back BB
it's
gun
hard.
wars.
Yeah. My son loves the BB guns and hunting, but there's this place for everybody.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean the world's changed a bunch.
Yeah, and it's going to keep going. We gotta hold on to that rope, man, and just ride
Ride it
it like
out.
a bull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't let it beat you, and see where you end up. So, all right, guys, I know you're ready. We've been here for a little bit. You got a long drive. Man, this was one of the best podcasts ever.
Heck yeah.
Some of mine get really too serious, and I wanted to keep it light and fun. And you guys are a lot of fun. The energy. I want to finish this. I told you I was a poker player for a long time. We would go to a place called Tunica, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Tunica used to be baby Vegas, right? It was for, big deal. Now you go there and the casinos is all that's left and they're all run down and, the towns have died and you go inside and it's just, older. I have nothing. I love old people. I love talking to them, but this is just older people and they're just sitting there, with their mask on, hitting the button, hitting the button, hitting the button. And then the waitress comes over. She's older than the person there. I love old people. I want old. I'm not saying we shouldn't have that, but those people need that energy that young people bring. Youth brings energy, and that's what you guys have done to the podcast, and I appreciate it. You energize it, and looking forward to doing it again. Again, shout out to Chip. We'll go out and have a big pork chop one night, maybe. We'll meet up over
heck
there.
yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Right after a big rodeo, right?
Oh yeah, we can do it after the Benton rodeo.
Cool. Well, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know how, but I don't know. I mean, that's pretty late afterwards. We may have to do it before.
We can do it before.
So you're gonna keep in touch with me, me, because my schedule might be a little more taxing than yours. I'll forget.
Yeah, Mr. Broken over here. He don't have
But
much of
I
a
will
schedule right
I'll
now.
get Shelby on it. She will make sure we get tickets and we'll be there and it'll be a good day. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Thank you for
awesome.
having us.
All right, we'll see you. Thank you over there. Well, yeah. Next time, get a mic. We'll get you in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. We're gonna do it.
What exactly happened down there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I talked to him and blah, blah, blah. He asked about you guys and da-da-da-da-da, more questions, blah, blah, blah.